Hey guys, what's going on? So in this one, we're going to be covering the Baal Guild Boss for P5X Global version 2.4, and this is going to be week 2 of the Guild Bosses. This is going to be the version of the boss where they get stronger every turn, and then the point multiplier goes up by zero point 0.5 kind of every turn until it gets to 2. And then the special effect for Guardian Medic is back this week, so you have to bring a Guardian or a Medic. So what we're going to be running here is Moko 1, Wonder 2, Cord 3, Mesa 4, and Futaba as Navigator. And then Wonder is going to be running Eye of Obsequies for his dagger, but if you don't have that, you can go ahead and use Ex Machina here. And as for Personas, we're going to be bringing Chernobog, Dominion, and Yanosik. And as for slot-ins and stuff on this team, so this one's a little bit weird, obviously, because you can use Ryuchi here if you don't have Mesa, but a lot of the effects on this boss are kind of like very skewed towards like Mesa-centric things, but obviously he is physical, so that's obviously an option for you. But if you don't have Mesa, you would probably want to move a little bit of the power on this team over to the Queen side. The reason that we're using Cord and Futaba here with Mesa over Queen, because Mesa's team already inherently wants Moko, satisfying that Guardian Medic role. So you're not really like taking away from his team by having to bring a Guardian or Medic on his team. Whereas on Queen's team, you can't bring Vino and Cord, right? So, and Queen like really does kind of want Vino for the ailments and stuff. You could probably put Futaba over there, but it may be difficult to fit Cord in. But yeah, if you have any questions that I didn't answer, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer whatever I can for you. As for Personas, Chernobog's going to be running just Verdict of Agony, and then you can put whatever additional passive abilities you want on him. Dominion will be running Cohesion and Tarukaja, and then Yanosik will just need Rakunda. As for card sets, Messa's running Wisdom and Oppression, Cord is running Trust and Prosperity, Boko is running Harmony and Victory, and Futaba is running Resolve and Labor. But yeah, I don't have a ton else to say. Obviously, if you have a stronger Mesa, this may change your strategy a little bit, or if you don't have Futaba. So we're actually going to be using a little bit of a different, we're not going to be just going with the bleed-only strategy this time. We are going to be mixing in some of his Ripper mode stuff with his skill 1, because with Futaba, I actually found that she does kind of even out sort of the damage that I'm getting with the Ripper mode stuff. So for me, I'll be following it like this, but obviously if you do not have Futaba, then feel free to just basically get the 10 stacks on Mesa and then use his regular skill 2 the entire fight. But yeah, like I said, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer whatever I can for you. Otherwise, I will see you when we get into it. Alright, so we will start it off with Hail Summer Days on Mesa. And then Wonder will use Verdict of Agony. And again, if you don't have like Cords, 5-star, or Prosperity or whatever, you won't be able to highlight right here, but it doesn't matter as long as you have Mesa's highlight available. When I use his highlight next turn, you'll be able to follow this exactly the same, so don't worry about it. But I will go ahead and use Cord's highlight here. Again, you don't have to. As long as you can use Mesa's highlight when or before I use it next turn, you will be able to follow everything the same as me. So Cord will go ahead and use Unison Notes now on Mesa. Mesa can use Moonlit Scalpel. We can start building up these bleed stacks. And now Futaba's up, so we can go ahead and use her skill 1. Then Moko can use her skill 3. Moko, again, just going to be rotating the skill 2 and 3 the whole fight. Wonder is now going to swap to Dominion, and we will use Cohesion on Mesa. And then Mesa can use his highlight. This is where you'd want to use yours at the latest. And then Cord can go ahead and use Distortion. We'll save Catchy Hook for next turn when he has Virus on. If you have a higher awareness Cord, then obviously you may be able to get 3 Catchy Hooks off in this fight. I can only get 2 off, so I'm kind of optimizing. But if you can get 3 off, that's, optimal. And now we're going to go ahead, and now that we have 10 stacks of bleed, we'll go ahead and go into Ripper mode. And we will use the Midnight Surgery skill 1. And then Futaba is going to use her skill 3. We'll give Virus. And then Moko can go back to skill 2 again. Wonder will swap back to Chernobog and use Verdict of Agony again. Cord can use Catchy Hook now. And then Mesa can go into Ripper mode and use his skill 1 again. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and use Wonder's highlight right here with Chernobog. For whatever reason, I feel like the Chernobog highlight does more for me than the Dominion highlight. I have no idea why. It's probably not correct, but if you want to wait the one turn and switch to Dominion and use his highlight instead, it doesn't change the highlight rotation. You have to wait a turn for Cord to go later anyway. So you have a turn to play with if you want to wait for it, but we'll go ahead and use Moko's skill 3 here. Wonder will now swap to Dominion. I'm going to use Tarukaja on Mesa. And Cord will reapply Unison Notes on Mesa. And now Mesa's going to go ahead and use his regular skill 2 here. We want to reapply the 2 extra bleed stacks that skill 2 gives and gets us back up to 10. Futaba's back up again, so we will use her skill 1 again. And then Moko can use her skill 2 on Mesa. Now Wonder's going to go to Yanosik, and we'll use Kunda. And then, see, this is the turn where we have to wait for Cord. So, again, you have like one turn to play with earlier if you prefer to use Dominion's highlight. We'll go ahead and use Distortion here, though. We do not get lucky with the Shock, which is not great, but it's fine. Ideally, you want to get Shock applied on him both times Cord uses Distortion, but, you know. Cord will go ahead and use her highlight now. And then Mesa will go into Ripper mode and use Midnight Surgery. And then Futaba's back up again, so we will now use her skill 3, apply Virus, and kind of gear up for our biggest damage turn we can do here. Moko will go back to skill 3. Wonder back to Dominion to use Cohesion on Mesa. Cord, Catchy Hook. And then Mesa can use his own highlight. And then we can go into Ripper mode once again. And now here's probably where I'll differ for most. For most, I guess depends on how strong your Mesa is, you can use Pathology, but because he will proc the bleed one more time, I was actually doing more damage using Midnight Surgery, and then just letting the bleed get off, than whatever I was doing just using Pathology. I may not have the skill leveled up as high, that may be part of the issue, but we'll go ahead and use the skill 1 for me. So 73, that's not my highest, so I think it was probably because of the shock. Still, if you have a much better Mesa, then you'll have a much better score. When I was borrowing units from my guild, I was getting like in the 90s, like 95-ish, with a better Mesa, Futaba, or Cord. Kind of I tried with each one of them, and I was getting like significantly higher. At all A0, I think this is kind of expected, maybe a little bit worse, I don't know. Hopefully you found a little bit of use in this. Again, it's kind of like the same as it's been. I really wish they would like mix in a couple of different guild bosses. If you have any questions, like I said, leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer whatever I can for you. But otherwise, I appreciate you watching. As always, I will see you on the next one, and have a good one.